Hi, EAF 228. Welcome to my cultural bag presentation. My name is Dr. V, also known as Dr. Venus Evans Winters. But because I am a part of the hip hop generation, my students have nicknamed me Dr. V, and I just ran with it. And so I don't know if you all know this. I think I put it up somewhere. I've been in school since I was 3. Yes, I started out in preschool in Chicago, actually Head Start, and I just matriculated straight through from elementary school, middle school, high school, right to college. So I became a professor. I had my PhD at the age of 26, and I became a tenure track professor at the age of 27. So let's just say I spent a lot of time in school. So that's a little bit about me. I've been at ISU for approximately 9 years now, 9 or 10 years now, and this is like my fifth or sixth year teaching EAF 228 online. Oh, time flies by. But anyhow, I am filming right now in my son's bedroom, so don't tell him he's away at college, but this is the first time that I changed his room around. Yes, I actually made it into extra office space. I know, bad mommy, bad mommy. But anyhow, I love my son. Hopefully, he's having a lot of fun away at school. While I preoccupy or occupy his bedroom. So, anyhow, so let me tell you a little bit about my culture. So, first of all, this is my cultural bag. So, part of our presentations or cultural bag presentations is to actually display our parts of our culture in something that we would carry around every day. Well, let me tell you all something, okay? I am the queen. You hear me, ladies? I'm not leaving out the guys. But ladies, I am the queen of bags and purses. Dr. V loves her bags, okay? So here's a beautiful bag that I like to carry sometimes, usually if I'm doing some type of fanciful event, okay? I wouldn't just carry this around all the time. This is if I'm really trying to show out, if y'all know what I mean. So this bag is actually from Ghana. Ghana is in West Africa. And I don't know if everybody knows this, but most African Americans are actually from Central Africa or West Africa. So the transatlantic slave trade took place on the coast of Africa. So many African Americans do have indigenous roots in the western part of Africa. And so I do go to West Africa a lot, Ghana. I consider it my second home. My godson lives in a village in Ghana, and my goddaughter, his sister, also lives in that village with their mother. And so I go back and forth. I get a lot of little trinkets and gifts from South Africa. And in that village, we do speak Twi or we speak Ewe. Okay. But my dominant language obviously is English because I was born on the south side of Chicago and I went to all public schools in Chicago or the south suburbs of Chicago. Okay. And after graduating, I got all 3 of my degrees from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in sociology, women and gender studies, social work, and a PhD in educational policy analysis and educational policy studies with an emphasis on the sociology and anthropology of education. I know that sounds like a mouthful, but it says a lot about what's in this bag and who I am as a teacher, as a professor, as a mother, as a U.S. citizen. Okay, so let's see what's in Dr. V's cultural bag. Okay, so like I said, this bag is from Ghana. Uh, and here I have one item I have in my bag. Why do I feel like I'm on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? But anyway, so one item that I have in my bag is this beautiful African doll. So I travel a lot. And so here I did a program, a volunteer program where I was doing social work and teaching adults in the township in South Africa. And it was a high density HIV/AIDS community in South Africa. And my students were ages 17 through 25. And so I bought this I got this in Johannesburg. And this is a handmade African doll. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Yes, beautiful. A little bass too, right? A little bass drum. But anyhow, you can see that she looks like me. She looks like my daughter. I love this doll. This is one of my favorite dolls. I keep it on like this altar where I can, my altar, my spiritual altar. And it just reminds me of when I was even a little girl. Her hair, how she wears her hair in braids with the beads. So this is a traditional South African doll, and as you can see with the jewelry around her neck, that's probably even representing royalty, right? Even when you see a lot of beads, a lot of beads. Okay, so yeah, so that represents my part of my cultural travels. I am what I consider to be an African centered pedagogue or an African centered person. I do draw a lot upon indigenous spirituality as well as traditional spiritual practices, but this represents my cultural travels. Let's see. Sorry, I have to turn around. I don't have the best setup for my cultural bag presentation because this bag is heavy. Okay. So anyhow, also another doll. So when I was a little girl, I'm just like a lot of girls. Wow, I like dolls. I used to love Barbie dolls, honey. I love Barbie dolls. Oh yes. And so here's a doll. This is an African doll, and she is from I think that I got this doll also in South Africa. I want to say South Africa because these masks are very traditional. You see the mask on her dress. This is handmade, by the way. So if you can see these masks, these prints on her dress, that's a very South African symbol and ensemble. And again, as you can see, she has her scarf on. Okay, so this represents aspects of my African heritage as well. Many Africans in the African Americans in the United States, again, are from West African or Central Africa when they were brought here during the transatlantic slave trade. But right now in the United States, we actually have more people, black people who are of African ancestry who were actually born on the continent of Africa. Most people don't know that. They believe majority of black Americans are from the Southern tradition or who were brought here as enslaved people. But actually, now in the United States, we have more people who are actually from the Caribbean islands or from African islands in the continent of Africa who are actually in the United States. People don't know that, but that's good to know. So anyway, I love dolls. I'm a typical girl, y'all. Typical girl. I love my dolls, but those dolls represent my ancestry. So the other thing I have here, because now, the sad thing is, y'all, I really do carry scarves in my bags, okay? Just because you never know when it's gonna be cold, you never know when it's gonna be hot, you never know when you're gonna need a little decoration. So some of you probably have noticed in your classrooms, or maybe you got roommates, or you are in dorms with other black women, but we love our scarves, okay? And so now I can tell you now, I only know how to do a basic scarf wrap, but some of these younger sisters, wow, they really know how to wear their scarves. And they wear them really fancy. I'm not that fancy with mine. I'm the type that I just like to just throw it on more as a comfort thing, and unless it's decoration. Unless I really really want to get turn to traditional African attire. I don't necessarily always wear fanciful scarves or wraps in a certain way. But here's an example. So this is not the best wrapped scarf right now just because of the way that my hair is styled. But I did want to give you all an idea of the significance of hair in my culture, in the African American culture in particular. So here, I mean, you will see black women and Caribbean women, even indigenous women. We really like to protect our hair. And so we're not just protecting our hair for aesthetics purposes. I mean, because this is a beautiful scarf. You know what I'm saying? It is beautiful. Y'all know that. But anyway, so this is a scarf that you probably would just use like to protect your hair, or meaning from the elements, or if you don't feel like styling it or whatever. And as you all can see, I do have locks, okay? So Dr. V locks are flowing. And usually people with locks, I know now it's more of a style, but it also has cultural relevance because you're wearing your hair natural. So this is like my hair more of in a natural state. I used to wear afro, y'all, okay, just a few years ago. But anyway, so the locks for me, having a background in the Chicago cultural community, the Rastafarian community, we just believe in one love. We believe in peace. And these locks is like our ways of expressing our oneness with nature, our oneness with the universe, our oneness with all people, one with all people, regardless of their race, their class, their gender, their religion. So the Rastafarian community tradition, we just believe that we're all one under God, and so we strive for peace and unity. So anyhow, so this is an example of a scarf that I would wear sometimes if I just want to put my hair up. Very, very. So if you see any sisters and your young sisters, black women, young black girls in your classrooms or out in the community, compliment them on their scarves. We love our scarf game. As you can see, the prints are even representative of traditional African and African American culture. So, but anyway, I just like to play with it sometimes. Smile. So those of you who've been in my office, you all know that I love to have fun. I love to have humor. Make fun, have humor, or be humorous and have fun with people. Yeah. So I think a lot of that is missing in education because some people get so caught up on their politics, right? So they're concerned about issues of sexuality, issues of gender, issues of different abilities, and that people turn into themselves. And right now, we are a very anxious society. So we're turning on each other instead of just respecting each other's opinions and perspectives and differences. And we bring all of that hostility into the classroom. So the point of the cultural bag presentation, and so that we can all see our humanity. And culture is humanity, right? So my dog doesn't have culture, so my dog is not human. But I could still respect him as a part of the animal world. But I think we have a different obligation to other human beings to protect them, to serve them, to teach them, and to also learn from them. Okay? I don't think that I know everything. I'm always listening to my students and my kids because I tell you now, teenagers can teach you so much about yourself. But anyway, I digress. Let's turn back to my cultural bag. What else do Mrs. Rogers? I'm just kidding. I do feel like I'm Mr. Rogers or Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Let's see what else I got here. So, another aspect of my cultural bag I added is, I don't know if you all can read this. It says a clinician's guide to teaching mindfulness. Yes. So not only am I a professor at ISU, I'm also a clinician in private practice. I'm a psychotherapist in private practice. I'm also a mindfulness meditation teacher. That means that I just teach people how to be mindful and how to meditate. Again, as a student of the Buddhist psychology or a Buddhist psychology, I just try to figure out how I can be grounded and how I can be one with the plant world, with the animal world, with other human beings, and with the universe. And that's a spiritual practice. Meditation just grounds me, okay, so that I can connect with those around me while also being aware of my body. So I use a lot of mindfulness and a lot of meditation with my clients who are experiencing trauma. So yes, I am a certified clinical trauma professional as well as a mindfulness meditation teacher and a clinician. And I use a lot of trauma informed practices to help my clients heal from trauma. And in the United States, 80% of the population has experienced some type of trauma. I work with individuals who have survived race-based trauma, sexual violence, childhood domestic violence, adult victims of the foster care system, and also adults who parents were addicted to alcohol or other controlled substances. So I work with the most vulnerable in our society, in our communities. And of course, as a licensed school social worker, I've also worked with a lot of kids who have different disabilities and a lot of neurodiversity. So a lot of my research covered, for example, special ed kids who receive special services, but also gifted and talented students, high achievers. So I work across the spectrum of neurodiversity. So that's my area, neurodiversity. So mindfulness, meditation is big to me, very, very important. In fact, I got stuck in a yoga pose the other day, and my poor little dog, I got a Yorkie. He actually just licked my face while I was stuck in that pose. So practice, 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 so you won't get stuck in your yoga pose. Okay. Here's another book, y'all. I am a nerd. Pause. I'm a nerd. Okay. I like reading. I like writing. I like studying. I like learning. I like teaching. And so one of my areas of specialty is clinical hypnosis. Yes. So I am a trained clinical hypnotist And all that that means is that for my clients who are experiencing chronic stress or trauma, um, including work, first responders, police officers, firefighters, people who work in child protective services. If they've experienced some type of trauma, some type of domestic violence, childhood experiences, even I've worked with athletes. Yes, I work with athletes. So I use hypnosis basically to help them recover from chronic stress and trauma, or to also pursue their goals. So people who have really, really big goals is a part of my job to help them get on track. So I just use this book as an image. This is like the premier textbook on hypnosis. That's why they call it trance work, or putting someone in trances. That's like a way of stating it from a traditional perspective. Okay. So anyway, that's just a little bit more about Dr. V. And if you come into my office, trust me, I will give you an earful, right? Where my students at? I have a student club. They're called my student tech support, who come into my office so that I can see all of our EAF discussions from a student's perspective. So you should join my team. We should do coffee one day. Dr. V loves coffee. As you can hear, I'm pretty hyper. So this is a Kanara cup. Have you ever heard of a Kanara cup? So in our family, we do practice Kwanzaa. We follow the Kwanzaa tradition. So Kwanzaa is somewhere between Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's. So this is a Kanara cup. We drink from this cup. It's a shared cup. So remember, I was telling you all that we believe in the oneness of humanity, the oneness of the universe, the oneness of people across race, class, gender, even sexuality. So this bring us closer to oneness with our families, our community, and even the elders and the ancestors. So during Kwanzaa, we really, really center children. Young people are very important, okay? And as someone who practices mindfulness parenting, Kwanzaa is really important to me because I believe that my children are my true teachers. And I believe that children are spirits, young people, youth are spirits with their own destiny. So sometimes you all may hear me even talk about, in our class, I know it's online class, but even in our online class, I try to help you all be successful by reminding you that you're capable of being successful. Yes, I don't care about grades. I don't care about scores. I care more about someone's comprehension and understanding and how they feel about themselves. Oneness, right? Just because an A can trick you into believing that you are a A does not make you a good teacher. Put it that way. An A grade does not make you a good teacher, but an A grade may make you feel like you are a good student. And the two are not equal. So I wish we would get rid of grades in the United States. Other countries have. But anyway, so this Kanara cup reminds me about the importance of youth and the elderly and our connecting with our ancestors, those whom have passed on. So that's a Kwanzaa representation of my culture. What else I got down here? Oh, look what Dr. V found in her bag. My Apple Watch. Yeah, I'm a part of American culture. In America, we are very time conscious. Okay? So in America, we are very time conscious. So here I am wearing my Apple Watch, which is reminding me that it's time to leave because I have a class I need to go teach in a little while. And also, I love Apple products. I love Mac products. Call me a sellout if you must, but I'm working on that very, very bad habit. But I also use an Android, okay? So that was my political correct statement. So anyway, this Apple Watch just reminds me to stay fit and stay on time. I am very time conscious. I think that has a lot to do with my gifted brain, okay? So just like I've already noticed, I went overtime on my video, but I'm going to close up. So finally, what does Dr. V have in her culture bag? This. Can you all see that beautiful, beautiful award? Yes. So this past weekend, I did win the the College of Education EAF Scholarship and Productivity Award. Most people don't know this about me, but I've written over, well, a lot of people do know it because I'm all over social media. Okay. So I've written eight, maybe 7 or 8 books. I've written many, 30 plus journal articles or scientific journal articles. I'm one of the most highly published and researched scholars, not only at Illinois State University, but across the country. I hold the highest rank, one of the highest ranks at the university, which is for professor. I hold the highest rank of any other Black person at our university, which is professor. So I make up 2% of the U.S. population. But keep in mind, y'all, I started young, all right? And I kept going. Some people would say that's gifted and talented. I think it's hard work. And so I love my students. I connect with my students. I learn from you all. And I think that this award that I just got a couple of days ago, it actually represents my identity as a part of college culture, university culture, academic culture. That's the word I was looking for. So it represents my connectedness with, yeah, academic culture. And so y'all just be on top of I'm on top of my game, and I thank you all for helping me be on top of my game. I know that I am tough on you all, and I'm tough on you all because I love this thing called education. I love this country. Every man in my family has served in this country's military as far back as the Civil War. And at least one student who's watching this knows this. So I have done work with veterans, a lot of advocacy work with veterans, especially as it relates to PTSD, and also supporting their rights and protecting them from criminalization. But I do a lot of work also on girls of color. So my research on women and girls is actually what sent me to the White House. Ooh, sorry about that. So that's the research that actually sent me to the White House to talk about my research and also present with people like Michelle Obama and other politicians who are doing work and research on girls and girls' rights. So anyhow, I'm going to end this video making sure. Oh, look, ladies. Okay, so I know the guys feel left out. Don't feel left out, guys, okay? But I just wanted to show. I am a big part. I'm also what's representing all of my cultures is girl culture. I am a big fan of girl culture. I am a big fan of femininity. I love everything about being a woman. So I'm a part of woman culture, female culture, girl culture. And as well as you can hear through all of this, all of my languages is also a big part of hip hop culture. I love hip hop. I love hip hop. I love art. I love music. I love dance. I love speech. I love teaching. I love learning from my students. So this is the end of my cultural bag presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you all's cultural presentations. Thank you again for being in the class, and thank you for listening to the video.